G'day, it's Rusty from Rusty's Outback Adventures, and welcome to part 2 of our video series on how we're going to upgrade this little caravan I bought and get it licensed and get it on the road. And we're going to use it as our new camping vehicle because we're going to retire the camper trailer. Camper trailer's been a really good unit, just looking for something with a little bit more creature comfort, I guess, and this is what we're doing. So today we're going to be looking at the drawbar and we're looking at the trailer hitch. And as you saw in the previous video, it had on the front, let me just turn this around. On the front it had a couple of storage boxes which actually hid the original drawbar, and the extended drawbar that was fitted, we can now see what we've got here. So I've been to see the trailer parts people and they've suggested that as long as I transfer this chassis number, which is here, onto the new drawbar, I can take this old frame out. So the plan is to remove that, put a brace across the front here and probably one through the middle, because I've said the quad bike is going to fit on here. And we also need to look at the hitch. Currently it has electric brakes, and in another video we're going to be putting a new axle and springs in there. But at the moment we have a cable operated handbrake, which is good, but this hitch has been damaged, so we're going to replace that hitch. And also the jockey wheel, unfortunately the jockey wheel is not happy, not working inside, so we're going to get a new assembly for that. So the plan is for this video, we're going to remove the drawbar, put some diagonal braces in and upgrade the hitch and the jockey wheel. I'm going to get the plasma cutter out and we're going to just cut these pieces out and put some bracing in. And I'll just show you the jockey wheel. This is the Alco style of jockey wheel. So you've got a 8-inch, I think it's 8-inch solid rubber wheel with a telescopic tube. There's a threaded section here, and the threaded section runs down inside this outer tube, and then on the end you've got a handle with a pin that goes through here, a little hole there, and you've got a roller bearing assembly that runs on. Well, that's in stark contrast. Let me show you what come out of mine. As you can see here, this had snapped off, rendering it, I guess, not really useful. Okay, so all I've got to do now is, because I've still got the tube, and this tube is in good nick, that I can still rotate and lock in place, all I'm really doing is stealing the threaded section and the new handle, because the new handle looks a bit better than my old one, and I'll just go ahead and reassemble that and I'll put it on the trailer and I'll show you what it looks like once it's on. Now I just wanted to point out, this hole where the pin goes through, there was actually a flat on one side, so that's a flat section, and in the handle, if you can see in there, it's got a flat section there where that spring pin goes in. So it's just a matter of aligning that up there, knocking the pin in, and I did put a liberal amount of what I use here. This is what's this called? Nickel anti-seize. It's a lubricant to lubricate the thread inside, and also I'll put a little bit on that bearing that's in there. So I'll just tap that pin in and then we'll be able to wind it all the way in. Alright, so now we're back to a fully functioning jockey wheel, which is really good, and that'll help because we need to move this into the other side of the shed so I can jack it up and do a bit more work on it. Well, I'm about to cut the inner drawbar off the outer one. I'm using the plasma cutter, and this is the Razor Cut 45, and I'll probably dial in around probably 40 amps, I guess, and then just use the hand torch, and I've marked some lines where I've got to cut it. Oh, where are we? I've lined some marks across the front here and down the side so I know where I'm going to cut it, and hopefully it'll be a simple little process of cutting it out. So I'll get onto that now. So that's got the old A-frame out. All I need to do now is just go around and dress up these cut areas, square these off nice and square, and then I've got to put a rail across there and probably one halfway through. So, right, I'll get on and do that now that I've got the old one out. So now that the old drawbar's out, I've put this boxed section in through the front, and it's welded across the front, welded in here onto the extended drawbar, and the old drawbar rails have been cut flush and welded on the back of this. And I went with a middle bar through here that comes up to this point. As you can see, if I stand back here, we've got that strengthening rail through there, and I did add just a plate underneath, just a gusset that's welded along the back round through the sides. And then one other thing I've done too after doing some research is if I get down here on my back, alright, you can see here this piece of flat bar. Now one of the options for strengthening these drawbar rails was to put some sort of flat bar on its edge, and my Caravan's got exactly the same thing, my big van. So that's a piece of 50 by 5, cut the front corner and back corner at a 45-degree angle, and that goes all the way back to the back edge of the drawbar. So I don't think that's going to bend in a hurry. I'm pretty sure that that's nice and sturdy and strong. And now that the underside strengthening's been completed, I've just dummied up the quad bike rack, which came off the camper trailer drawbar, and as you can see here, it's got this flange at the front. I can put some sort of angle here to bolt it on, and the same across the back. I'll put some angle through here, and then I'll bolt it through here onto that angle, so that'll hold it. Now, unfortunately, the Caravan doesn't have a straight front. It's got a curved, as you can see, so I'm going to have this dead zone through the front here, which is about 250 through here. The quad any further over because it'll hit up against the front of the van. But what did come off this van was this 150mm storm sewer pipe, which is obviously a tube to carry, I don't know, annex poles or something, and it was actually laid across that front in this front section here. So I'll probably put it back on if I can think of a good reason to do so. So yeah, help me out here, fellas. If I'm going to put the tube back on, what the heck am I going to put in it? Because the thing's about 2 meters long, so you can't put little tubes in because you'll lose them in the back end and you won't get it off. So I haven't got an annex at the moment. I've been using a gazebo with sides on it, so I may use that still. But yeah, if you've got any ideas what I can put in a 2 meter long by 150mm storm sewer tube carrying device, I appreciate you letting me know what I can put in there. So yeah, now that the quad bike frame is sort of lined up, and now I need to just put some brackets on to secure it, and then we can take the whole thing off and get some paint on it. And now that we know the location of the quad bike rack, I'm pretty certain I'll be able to put this 9 kilo gas bottle across this member here, support under there with that brace. So it'll probably sit, I guess, somewhere in there. The final location will be once we get the actual mounting bracket to put it in. So all in all, everything's looking pretty good at the moment. I think alignment wise, I'm pretty comfortable with the way everything is. So all we need to do now is get that 9 kilo bottle mount, line it up to make sure we know it's going to fit properly, and then we can go ahead and weld that in place, weld those little tabs on for the quad bike rack, take the whole thing apart again, and then finally get some paint on it. Well, as you can see now, I've got the gas bottle holder mounted. The quad bike rack is securely bolted, and what I've done is before I've welded some angle iron brackets underneath in 6 places, so it's bolted through there. The gas bottle mount just misses the handle of the jockey wheel, which is, I know it was tight, but I knew I had enough room, so that's okay. So that's it now. All I've got to do is strip this gas bottle out of the holder. The quad bike frame can come off now, and I can finally paint this. So we're looking forward to getting that done. Well, the drawbar's had a coat of paint. Well, I should say several coats of paint. I'll let the paint go hard before I put the frame back, the quad bike frame on, and the gas bottle. But anyway, I've got to lift it up. So in the next episode, we're going to be lifting it up and changing the suspension. So that's it for now. Really pleased with the way it's come out, nice and strong. Tidied up that front section where with the old drawbar was in there. And this is the hitch I ultimately went with. This has got the swivel here, and the bit that mounts onto the tow ball also pivots as well. So that's going to give me a fair range of movement in an off-road situation. I'll be able to use the handbrake mechanism again, which standard bolt fitting. And yeah, this is the Alco 3.5 ton rated one. And yeah, pretty pleased with that. I'm certainly going to give me the movement that I was hoping for. As you've seen, the drawbar is now painted. The gas bottle mount is on. The quad bike tabs are welded in place for the quad bike rack to fit on. The paint's probably still a little bit soft, so I don't want to go mount anything on it anyway. And really the next stage is to pull the suspension out, and to do that we've got to lift the whole van up. And that's the next video. Alright, so that's it for this video. If you like the video, a thumbs up would be appreciated. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, the subscribe button will be down here. And if you'd like to follow along, I'll put a link to the playlist for the whole series up here. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comment section below. I'll certainly get to them. If there's something you don't like about the video and you do give it a thumbs down, please write in the comments what it is that you didn't like, because I'm always trying to learn how to make better videos. So that's it for this video, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.